discussing from chapter 3 of Bhagavad Gita. So, do I have to recite the verse?
Yes, please go ahead.
Now, would we have Gitas here for everyone? No.
Gita is in the mobile. They have the Bhagavad Gita person, Bhagavad Gita was chapter 3.
Chapter 3, verse number 10, that is what I was told. So, are we at the right place today? Verse 10? Okay. So, this is the verse. I'm going to recite it now. Sahayagya praja srishtva
Sahayagya praja shrishva
purovacha prajapatihi
Guruvacha prajapati
anena prasavishyapam
Anena prashavishyatvam
Eshoshvishtakamatu.
Yeshavoshrishtamaduk.
All right. So first we'll just figure out what the Sanskrit is. Okay. And then we'll read the translation given by His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada. My voice is audible to everyone? Okay. All right. Saha. So technically, or Saha means along with. The word Sa could also have been used, Sayagya, which would be more, which is more used in the language. However, Saha is also perfectly all right. Saha Yagya. Yagya means certain activities which are known as sacrifices. Okay. That by which Yagya, it would mean that by which your desired object gets achieved is Yagya, which helps you achieve or see your desired object. That is known as Yagya. So it's like having some superpower. If you know how to do Yagya, then you'll be able to achieve your desired objective. So Saha Yagya Prajaha. Praja means a population. It could mean an entire generation of population. It could mean hordes of people. Prajaha. So along with the yagyas, Saha Yagya Praja Srishtva, to bring into creation. Puravacha. Pura, ancient times, in the days of the past. So Sahayagya Prajasishtva Puro Vacha Prajapati. Vacha means to speak or address. Prajapati. So there is Praja, and the lord of that population is called as Prajapati. It could also mean the creator of all the hordes of people is the Prajapati. So could be the creator, could be considered to be the lord, the overseer. These are all the meanings of Expati. XYZ Pati means creator, lord, controller, overseer, facilitator, etc., etc., etc. So here XYZ is replaced by Praja. So Prajapati. Okay. So in the days of the past, in ancient times, one interpretation would be that these words were spoken by the Prajapati. Another interpretation could be that after creating the Praja, the Prajapati was talking to his creation, was addressing his creation. Okay, so we'll see which interpretation is more practical. Why is Krishna speaking about yajnas here? Because in the previous verse he had said that in 10. Do you remember verse number 10? That was the concluding verse of last week. Last week we had a presentation here, or 2 weeks ago. Yagyarthat karmanant anyatra lokoyam karma. Okay. So activities which are performed as a sacrifice for yagya arthat, the master of sacrifices. Yagyarthat karmanaha, activities. Lokoyam karma bandhana. If you do not perform those activities, then you will be bound up and thus face problems. Let's say you're bound up. Your legs and feet are bound. Creates issues. What is more preferable? Which is a healthier proposition or situation? To be bound up or to be free? Why? Because when you're free, you can use your opportunities in a better way. When you're bound, then you're limited in using those opportunities. So if you do not perform those activities, then one becomes limited in using the opportunities in life. That is what he said previously. Okay? So what are those activities that you should perform? He's explaining now. These activities have been established many generations ago. By whom? By Prajapati. And at that time, the Prajapati spoke. At the time of creation, Prajapati spoke, or Prajapati spoke to his creation after bringing them forth. Is that okay? What did he speak? Anena. This. So Prajapati is speaking. He's speaking to his creation. The creation was created along with the yagya, sahayagya praja srishtva. So along with the creation, along with the created beings, yagya was there. So anena is talking to them. So you're the created, then I'm telling you this. Prasa Vishyadvam. Prasa Vishyadvam. Use this. For what? For what has it to be used? Esha Vaha Ishta Kama Dhuk. Dhuk means that is the cause of, or which gives you, which offers you, which yields. So what does it yield? Kama Dhuk. All of your desires. You achieve them. What kind of desires? Ishta Kama Dhuk. Coveted desires, which you really want to have in life. Ishta refers to that which is the principle. Ishta means the principle, the only one. The one that completely attracts you or means a lot to you, has a lot of meaning for you, Ishta. So Ishta also refers to the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So Ishta Kama Dhuk could also mean by which Anena, when you interact with these sacrifices, Prasavishwadhvam. Prasavishwadham means prasava. Prasava means to give birth. Prasava means to originate. You've heard of the word prasava? Hmm? Sanskrit, most of the original languages, prasava, prasuti, same words, to give birth, to bring forth, origination, growth, grow, growth from X to Y. That is also called as prasava. Okay? Prasava, prasa, vishwadhvam means grow, multiply, in abundance. So, anena, perform these sacrifices which were established in this creation along at the same time as you were created, and attain in abundance or have in great amounts Vaha Ishta Kamathuk, that which is most coveted unto you, that which is most coveted by you. Esha, Voshtishta Vaha Esha. So let this sacrifice be because of you receiving all of these benedictions. Is that all right? So we have broken down the understanding of this verse. So the translation is, in the beginning of creation, the Lord of all creatures sent forth generations of men and demigods along with sacrifices for Vishnu, and blessed them by saying, "Be thou happy by this yajna sacrifice, because its performance will bestow upon you everything desirable for living happily and achieving liberation." Okay? So the translation seems to be very truthful to what we have discussed. Seems to be in alignment with how we broke it down the verse word by word by word to understand its meaning, right? Seems to justify it. The translation justifies what we discussed. Okay. First, we'll analyze the word Prajapati. What is Prajapati? I said the master, the controller. But typically, the word Prajapati is also used in scriptures to address the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Sri Krishna, as the Lord of all living creatures, living beings, who is called as Narayan, as the Lord of all the universes, also known as Lord Jagannath, the Lord of all creation, the Lord of all living entities, or the resting place of all living entities is Narayan. So Prajapati refers to the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So when the Lord saw that creation has to be brought forth, there has to be Srishti. So what would be the goal achieved by creation? The living entities would get an opportunity to try and achieve the fulfillment of their desires. Why? Because they have not achieved it as yet. They did not get an opportunity, or they did not have sufficient opportunity to fulfill their desires. So they need that opportunity. It's like the CEO of a company trying to establish another plant somewhere so that people in that region get employment. Make sense? Or an hospital opening up another branch in some place so that people there can get benefit of medical facilities. It's but natural. So if the hospital is trying to open up another branch, the hospital does not want people to be sick. But it seems that people fall sick for reasons of their own. No one wants to get sick, right? But don't we fall sick? Like for example, somebody will tell us that please don't eat this because it could give you some health issues. You're like, we'll deal with it later on. Let me just have it. So do we want to get sick? No. But you definitely sometimes act insane. It is as if we want to challenge sickness. Who wins, you or me? I'm going to do whatever it takes for you to make me sick, but at the same time, I'm going to enjoy. So sometimes we may be better than the illness and we do not fall sick. Sometimes we may not have the strength. We may not have sufficient immunity to deal with the challenges that come up when we fall sick. A company will open up to give employment opportunities to people because the company wants to grow. But first, there has to be investment. So the company, the CEO wants to put in the money. The returns will come later on. Correct? Now, these people are not going to travel to another place, but they have a desire to work. So the company helps the people fulfill their desire. Make sense? So why did the creation come into being? Because we have desires. We did not have a facility where we could try and fulfill our desires. We means the living entities. So what does Krishna do? Creation. Okay. Therefore, Krishna is called Prajapati. Now, the time of creation, where are the living entities? The living entities are inert, dormant. Why are they dormant? Same example. Why are the people in a particular location not going to a factory, not working in a factory? There's no facility. So if there's no facility, we as living entities, what are we going to do? Stay dormant. So where are we dormant? We are dormant in a state of existence that is provided by the Supreme Lord Himself. True? Where is the company going to build its office? In the place where we live, in that geographical location. So one fine day we see things manifesting and suddenly the topography changes, and henceforward that particular area in Pittsburgh will be known as, all its pictures will be seen as, oh, with a factory in there. Make sense? So the factory comes in this very place where we have never seen a factory. So we were already existing in the place where a factory would come in the future. Right now it is in the stage of, it is on the conceptual platform. Similarly, the living entities are living dormant where they are one with the Lord. When we say one with the Lord, they are in the Lord's existence creation only. But that creation is not the place where the living entities can fulfill their desires. Yes, please.
I'm just curious, where did the living entities come from when there was no universe at the time?
So the living entities are always a part of Krishna. They were never a part of the universe. So since Krishna is always existing, living entities also exist always. Because they're part of Krishna. So it really doesn't matter if the universe is there or not. The universe is needed for the living entities to try and fulfill their desires. Is that okay? Yeah. So the universe is going to manifest in the very space that the living entities are existing, but right now, because it is not manifested, hence they have to be in a dormant state because there is no facility. Is it better to chant Hare Krishna or try to analyze all of this? But then we want to analyze, right? It is helpful to analyze. And there's much to analyze like that. Okay. Okay. So that is what the living entities are trying to do. They're trying to express. They do not have the facility to express. Krishna sees that there's a need to express. So then he gives them that opportunity. He brings forth creation and he also stimulates them. The living entities also need stimulation. Factory is open, you can come, we are going to have walk-in interviews. There has to be some marketing, right? There has to be some stimulation. So Krishna also gives the living entity stimulation. Now come out of your dormant state. Do what you want to do. Figure it out. Use your intelligence. Use, whatever means you have, use it. So therefore, Krishna is called as Prajapati because not only does he bring forth the creation, but he also stimulates the living entities to be involved with the creation. So when the living entities become involved with the creation, now they become his created entities. Because now he's involving them in that creation. Now they become Krishna's created entities. Previously also they were part and parcel of Krishna, but they were not a part of the creation. Okay? So now they are his created beings. Therefore Krishna is Prajapati. Okay? So now when they come into creation, they have to figure out the protocols. You have to come in at 9 o'clock, punch in, 8 hours work, 1 hour of lunch break. So you can only leave at 6 o'clock. All of those things, sick leave. This is where you go and get your paychecks. This is the infirmary, etc., etc., etc. Figure out all the protocols. So every day they'll say, oh, if this factory is so huge, why cannot I enter through the roof? They say, no, you cannot enter through the roof. You have to enter through the entry gate. Okay. How will that benefit me? It will benefit the functioning of the company, and the company functions well. You get your paycheck. Otherwise, there'll be a 40-day shutdown. Okay. So you'll get your paycheck. So follow a little some norms which may seem that they are not letting you express yourself freely, but ultimately there's a certain goal to be achieved. So these norms that are established are called as yajnas. So as soon as there is a praja, there is a yajna. Things that have to be done in a particular way for that entity, that creation, to give you its benefits. So who knows it better than the CEO? So the CEO has to speak. When will the CEO speak? When the CEO inaugurates a company, the first speech. So Purovacha. In ancient times, Krishna spoke and he says, here are the yajnas. You are the praja. Do these yajnas nicely. These yajnas will be the very source of the birth of all that is very dear to you. And since I am the Ishta, you have to realize that the Ishta has to be the most dear to you, or the supreme goal has to be the most dear to you. Until the time you understand that, go to elementary school, middle school, high school, graduate, then come to us. So till the time you understand that the supreme goal is to worship the supreme personality of Godhead, go to some devata, go to some devi, go to some babaji, go to some place of worship, and slowly graduate through elementary, intermediate, middle, high school, college, then come into the workforce. Is that okay? So that is Krishna as the supreme creator of Prajapati. Prajapati also refers to the first created being coming from Krishna, who actually Krishna puts in as his representative or the supervisor, director. There's a CEO and then there are directors, right? The CEO is supposed to be higher up than the directors. So Krishna has a director. The director's name is Brahma. Okay? Brahma is also called Prajapati. Even in the Bhagavad Gita, the word Prajapati will be used for Brahma. Brahma is also Prajapati. Why is Brahma Prajapati? Because Brahma has been empowered by Krishna to see that the factory works. He's Krishna's day-to-day manager. Because Krishna is the CEO, he has many universes to look after, not just one. So in every universe, he has a director known as Brahma. And Krishna gets reports from all of his directors. He uses ChatGPT to summarize those reports. Yes, please.
Total how many universes are there?
Unlimited. To give us an idea of how many universes are there, it is described that from every pore of Lord Krishna's body as Mahavishnu, unlimited universes arise. So every pore has unlimited universes, one after the other. It's like, you know, that Diwali fireworks. What is it called as?
Anar.
The funnel kind of thing.
Anar.
Flower pot.
No, that funnel thing.
Anar.
The rocket,
Rocket.
that funnel rocket.
Yeah.
And you have those sparklers coming out one after the other. And after the sixth one, you're really tired. When is it going to end? Have you had that experience? Like, come on. It doesn't stop. It's like the Costco version. You have to just take it in bulk. So it's like 14, 15 such bursts. By the end, you're like, please stop. I need to put another one on fire. Isn't it? Yeah. So, so many universes come out through every single pore. Why? Because makes sense. It's like 1.4 billion people in India. Can you imagine having, out of which, let's say 60% are of voting age? Now it has to be the last person within the boundaries of that country. They need to exercise their voting rights. So the Election Commission of India does that, ECI. It travel to all, even if there is just one, there are some places only one person resides in a particular territory. So they have to not only just, they cannot establish a booth, they have to go searching for that person. Sir, we have come to you, can you exercise the voting right? Yes. 1.4 billion people. And still the government figures out how to do that. 60% of that is almost 80 lakhs. That would be 800 million. 800 million, right? 800 million people vote, exercising the voting rights. Let's say 50% of them actually vote. 400 million people. That's the entire population of the United States of America. And the government manages to do that, right? Somehow the other government. So there are so many living entities. They have so many desires. Some of them say, we want to vote from my hometown, not from the place where I work. You have to make facility for that. So unlimited universes for unlimited living entities, so that each one have the facility to fulfill their desires. So unlimited universes, yes. Okay. So Brahmaji is Krishna's director. Krishna is the CEO, Brahmaji is the director. So Brahmaji is also called as Prajapati. So if you take Brahmaji is speaking, because Brahma brings forth various species of life, is it true? If you read the Puranas, it seems that Brahmaji is definitely our great-great-grandfather. All of us are actually, our names should be XYZ Brahma. That's a family name. For those of us who believe in Vedic tradition, But Brahma said, no, 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 I don't want my name to come anywhere. He is very humble, not like us. We want our children to carry our family names. Brahma said, don't. So Sanat Kumar, son of Brahma, he has his own lineage. Narada, son of Brahma, he does not carry the family name. Everyone different. So that is Brahma's, you know, the way he functions. The way we function is also all right. Otherwise, it would be difficult to find out who our children are. Already it's difficult. You say Krishna, 10 people turn to you. Everyone's named Krishna. So then we say, no, my child is called Krish. Right? Anyways, yeah. So Brahmaji, he is also speaking. So not only Krishna is saying that I established yajnas, these are established yajnas for you to be engaged in. Brahma is also. If this is Brahma speaking, Purovacha, Prajapati, so when Brahma is making the same comment. Basically, what Krishna is trying to say here is there's no option to doing hard work because Arjuna did not want to work. He says, I want to just, and I'll beg. You know, a beggar typically decides. The beggar is really a freelancer, his own master. The beggar decides. Sometimes the beggar can even give back what the alms you give. You take it. You are more in need of this. Can we do that? With the salary that we give it back, you take it. We are like, okay, why don't you give me more? Yes. So we need to work. Work is important. That is the underlying principle of this chapter, Karma Yoga. How through hard work we can achieve the ultimate destination of self-realization. That is the underlying principle. So what is Brahmaji trying to say? Brahmaji says, Saha yagya praja srishtva purovacha prajapati. So in ancient time, Brahmaji is saying that when I created this creation, for this creation to manifest, I performed yagya. Saha yagya praja srishtva. It was with the yagyas that I was able to create. So that is another understanding of this verse. So if Brahmaji has to work 9 to 5, we also have to do 9 to 5 work. We cannot say that, hey, I cannot work. I just want to retire and I live on my pension. Everyone has to work. Yes. So yes, you have retired, you don't want to work for anyone. Freelance, do volunteer work. But keep on working. Because yagya, for you to achieve your desired results, once you go out of the workforce and you live on your pension, you will be practically forgotten by everyone. Is that true? Do we have people living on pension in our families? Do we? Or aren't they the forgotten ones? But as long as they are working, we are like, are you keeping healthy? Why do you have to work so much? We are after them. But also we are like, oh, you're already retired. Why do you need us anymore? Like, what? Just be peaceful. Let us do our work. Yes. So one has to always be active. So volunteer, because then you'll find some space for yourself and validation, which everybody needs in a healthy way. Not all of us are going to be silent meditators. That is a fact. It's not easy to do that. The mind doesn't allow us to do. The mind will always try to figure out things. To be silent meditators, you have to try and shut down the mind. Shut it down. Really shut it down. Then you'll be able to hear beyond what the mind is always chattering. So most of us will need some engagement. So we should always be engaged. So when Brahmaji performed sacrifice, it is because of those sacrifices he was successfully making this creation. Brahmaji's Ishta, his greatest desire was to help all of us. He is the great grandfather of all of us. So his greatest desire was that we achieve our whatever desires we have, we achieve that, our goals. So he wanted us to have the best facility. Therefore, he employed himself in the act of sacrifice to please Lord Vishnu. Lord Vishnu was pleased. Lord Vishnu gave him blessings. Brahmaji brought forth the creation. And now Brahmaji is telling all of us, you also engage in sacrifice. Yagya. So, anena prasavishadvam. These sacrifices, you also engage yourself in these sacrifices to achieve that which is very, very dear to you. And the hint is, Brahmaji is also saying, I wanted to conduct the sacrifices to please Lord Vishnu, and that is what I did. Please see if you could also do that. So there is no pressure, but there is just a hope. There is just a wish, Brahmaji's wish coming down to us. Please, you also engage in sacrifices as that which is my creation. Because you are my creation, therefore, please do that. All right. Okay. Let's see. So we said that Lord Krishna is being addressed here as Prajapati. So why wouldn't Lord Krishna just say I? So on two platforms, Lord Krishna is wanting to make us or give us the facility to analyze. One is on the platform of him being Prajapati. The other is the idea that Brahma is the Prajapati. So Brahma is a Prajapati can be the evidence is the verse itself. If Krishna is saying Brahma is a Prajapati, we can say that okay, the Prajapati is Brahma. But Krishna is Prajapati. Is there an evidence for that? So the evidence is in Srimad Bhagavatam. Okay? In Srimad Bhagavatam, second canto, chapter number 4, verse number 20. I'm giving you the evidence. Please repeat the verse after me. Okay? Shriya Patir Yagyapati Prajapatir Dhiyam Patir Lokapatir Dharapatihi Patirgatishchandhaka Vrishni Satvatam Prasidatam me Bhagavan Satam Patihi. Okay, so now we'll recite the entire verse. You need not recite after me. Shriya Patir Yagyapati Prajapatir Dhiyam Patir Lokapatir Dharapatihi Patirgatishchandhaka Vrishni Satvatam Prasidatam me Bhagavan Satam Patihi. So Bhagavan is being called as XYZ Patis. Okay? He is being addressed to as Shriya Pati. Oh, husband of Shri Lakshmi Devi. Yagyapati. Oh, the master of sacrifices. Prajapati. The Lord of all creations. Okay? So here is the evidence that the word Prajapati also refers to Krishna. And therefore, that is how we were looking at this verse. All right. What does it mean to engage in yajna? So yajna are certain protocols, or the process of yajna involves protocols which have to be accepted and activities have to be performed based on those protocols in a very, very selfless attitude. This is an important aspect of yajna. It has to be done in a very selfless attitude. What does selfless mean? Selfless means that we take away our self and dissolve it in some acid. That is not practical. That is not selfless. Selfless means
No expectation.
Benefit of everyone.
Not for yourself.
a benefit where your ego is not the motivating factor. So benefit for everyone is only possible where individual egos are not the motivating. What is the motivating factor then? The cumulative ego. It has to be the cumulative ego, which is very, very difficult to achieve. It is very easy to have the existence of individual ego. But as soon as most of you are in family life, husband, wife, son, daughter, mother, father, mother-in-law, father-in-law, 8 egos right there. What does it take to maneuver through all of that? Is it easy to maneuver all? It takes a lot of mental gymnastics to maneuver through all of that for a lifespan of 60 to 80 years. To get them all on one page. How is that effort? That is called as cumulative ego, to get everyone on one page, on the same page. So whenever we think of any benefit that a larger population can achieve, individual egos have to be set aside. And the cumulative ego has to be imagined, not just by one person, but collectively. That takes so much of coordination. A yajna is a set of protocols that could help an entire population achieve that. Therefore, a yajna is an activity to be done in a selfless mood, in the spirit of worship to the Supreme Personality of Godhead. And this yajna is actually real sacrifice, because once you conceive yourself as a part of the cumulative ego, you actually become a universal body. Like in the army, they train you to do that. You cannot fight as an individual soldier. Come together. And with each one cooperating with another person, better chances of victory. So if you want to win a war, first thing is to destroy that which keeps individual soldiers together as a group. Did you know that? That is why the Chakravyuh was so difficult, because the Chakravyuh conceives of an idea where hundreds upon thousands of soldiers become one body. You take out one wheel, another replaces it in the Chakravyuh. Arjuna was somehow very good at destroying it. None of the others could do it. So yajna is not simply doing swaha, although you do that. Why? Why do we have certain protocols for activities? Let's say cooking. Do we need to put on an apron?
No.
But if you put on an apron and you're not in the kitchen, you're somewhere else, what kind of comments will you receive?
No.
Oh, you should be next to the baking oven, right? Is the oven here in the bedroom? Comments like that. Certain protocols, because it helps you live life. Okay? So yajna helps you lead a comfortable life. Those protocols help make things a little easier for us every day of our existence. Hence, when you actually engage in a yajna, you're actually sacrificing a lot of your existence as an individual ego. Is it okay? Not all of us will be ready for that because we are individual beings. We have different ways that we perceive things. Now, if a glass is not full to the brim, let's say with water, it's only half filled with water. Different perspectives. Some would call it half full, others would call it half empty. Now, I call it half full, you call it half empty. So, you being the person that does not like to quarrel, you'll say, yeah, you're actually saying the same thing. But I would say, no, I'm not saying the same thing. You're saying empty, I'm saying full. But it's just two different perspectives, right? No, but you're saying empty, I'm saying full. It's not the same thing. Okay? So there are different perspectives. We are all individual beings. We look at life differently. We look at our eyes also sometimes. We look at things differently. Therefore, one eye is always stronger than the other. Did you know that? There's always the possibility that one eye is stronger than the other. So yes, center of point of vision may either be towards your right eye or towards your left eye. Okay. So because we are individual beings, we may not always agree with the idea that, okay, this has to be done in a totally selfless attitude. Not always agree, right? However, this gigantic body is always already there. This huge body of selfless people is already there. So what do? Wash our hands in the flowing waters of the Ganga. Let us be a part of it and try to get our ends met, have benefits. Therefore, sacrifices will allow you to also have your individual desires fulfilled, since that is what you want to achieve. Yajnas will also allow you to have your desires achieved, because in that attempt, at least for a given moment, you are cooperating with others, you are cooperating with the protocols. So that is helpful. So there is some element of sacrifice, there's some element of letting go, which is when you can live life with the idea of letting go. That is a big revelation. Let it go. No, that is, it is ₹1,000,000. Let it go. It is falling off the train. If you don't let it go, you will fall off. Then you let it go. $1,000,000 you let go. And you learn to live life without, and it's a revelation to you. I can actually live after letting go of $1,000,000. Big time revelation. Because before that, prior to that, you couldn't even conceive of that idea. So when you let go, you have revelation. Sacrifice allows you to have that revelation. The revelation that I can live at least for a few moments without keeping my individual ego as the center of the universe. It's a big time revelation. Hence, Krishna wants all of us to engage in sacrifice. Now, wouldn't that be, how can that be acceptable? That if I have some selfish desires, for a moment, if I let go of my selfish desires, but ultimately I get my selfish desires fulfilled through this cogwheel, through this mechanism of yajna, that is selfless activities. Is it acceptable to participate in such activities ultimately to have my limited selfish desires fulfilled? So Krishna is saying, Yagyarthar karmana anyat. If you do not perform activities, you will be bound by karma bandhana. You'll be bound by inactivity. You'll not be able to perform activities. So rather than be inactive, at least be active and cooperate with this big mechanism, even if it is for fulfilling of individual selfish desire. Because hopefully, the hope is that somewhere along the line, you may be inspired by the huge aura of so many other people working selflessly. It has happened in the past, it is happening in the present, and there is always hope. So even if you have limited selfish desires, please come and do yajna. Because yajna will help you achieve these desires and also give you a chance at thinking of how you should be achieving the supreme goal, that is Krishna. In Kali Yuga, yajna has a special form, and this is from Srimad Bhagavatam, 11th canto, chapter 11th chapter, verse number 32. Yes, it's right there in the purport. Okay, in today's purport. So please repeat after me. Krishna Varnam Tvisha Krishnam
Krishnavarnam Krisha Krishnam
Sangopangastra Parshadam
Sangopangasrparshadam
Yagyai Sankirtana Prayer
Sankirtanaparaye
Yajanti Hi Sumedhasaha.
Yanti Sumedashaha.
So the word yajna is being used, yagyai sankirtan. So in the present yuga, the age of Kali, sankirtan yajna is a process of yajna. And this sankirtan yajna was brought forth. Who is the creator of this sankirtan yajna? So the verse says, Shri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Krishna Varna Tusha Krishna. Tusha, a Krishna. So the Varna is a Krishna. Krishna is means dark complexion, or Krishna means light complexion. Sango Pangastra Parshatam. And Krishna in this form becomes equipped with, Krishna needs to have, as a Supreme Personality of Godhead, he has his symbols. The conch, the disc, bow, symbols are there, right? Ayudha they're called as. Here his symbols are Parashada, his devotees. They are his Ayudha. Yes, and then what does Yajna Sankirtana Prayai? He establishes the chanting of the holy names as the process of Yajna. Yantihi Sumedhasa. So if we come together and chant Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Then we are performing Yajna in the present age of Kali. So a quick hint of what is going to come. So long ago, when he, as Prajapati, when he established, taking inspiration from Krishna and blessings from Krishna, when he established Yajna, he also established the personalities unto whom the sacrifice can be offered. for those who have limited selfish desires. And they are called as the Devatas. So the next verse will explain Brahmaji's program for those who have selfish desires. At the same time, they are intelligent enough to want to participate in yajna. What should they do? So the next two verses will explain what should they do. We'll stop here. Any questions?
Any yajna in Kali Yuga, you said is Sankirtana yajna, right? So for other Devi Devatas also, like with limited selfish desires, if someone wants something, go to this Devi or Devata. Just chanting their particular shloka, that is considered yajna in this Kali Yuga.
Those rituals and mantras and stotras have been coming from a long way in the past through various generations. In fact, if you go back, it may also be from previous ages. So it is not really Sankirtan Yajna. It is Yajna for them based upon whatever protocols have been established in the past. In present times, taking or looking at how people are finding various excuses not to be able to do that consistently. Lord Chaitanya said, all right, you just engage in Sankirtan Yajna. By doing that, hopefully the Devis and Devatas will also be happy to engage in something nice. So they will.
Yajna, like we have a picture of all that, like fire and homam.
Yes, that is one form of it.
Okay.
There are homams, fires for various purposes. So there are subcategories. So there will be a yajna for devatas. Those deva yajnas would have various forms. There would be the Kula Deva. There would be in the forest there are the Vana Devas. Then it could be your Ishta Deva, some devata that has been worshipped in your family since long. Okay. Then there are yajnas that are performed towards other living entities, like yajnas for certain great personalities who have been yogis or tapasvis. So their worship and yajnas being done for them. Then there are yajnas that we performed to please our ancestors. Those yajnas practically no one does nowadays. The only one surviving is a little bit surviving is done for the devas. Then there is that which is done as a sacrifice, where we offer, where the flames are our intelligence and the offering is our using our energy or putting our energy into knowledge and education. That is called as Brahma Yajna. Okay. So just by doing Deva Yajna, we will not achieve all of our selfish desires. So anyways, we are not going to achieve everything. So why not try and just do Sankirtan Yajna?
Even that is not for like selfish desires. Like that we all meet, we do Sankirtan, but not with any selfish desires. So I was just confused about.
Yes, Sankirtan Yajna may be or may not be. If it is not with selfish, some people come, okay, we'll get prasad after. So there are some limited desires like that. Or we'll get to dance. There are so many inclinations like that. Yeah.
That desire is okay, right? That is not.
Everything is okay because just the ambience of so many people coming together and trying to make a sacrifice is helpful. Even for the idea of where you do yajnas, if there is a big yajna, like Like recently on Deepavali, millions of lamps were lit on the banks of the river Saraju, Ayodhya. Some people say it is for making a world record, but just the aura of it when you have the drone footage, it, for people who have faith, it kind of leaves a massive impression on your consciousness. So yeah, you can always have your own approach. Even during Sankirtan, you can have your own approach, and everything is all right. Krishna never says that this is not okay. He says what is not okay is not doing it. Not doing yajna is not okay. He says yajna or yajna is okay. Okay. So coming back to the Deva Yajna that is being, we considered some or the other in the present times for so many generations, past 3-4 generations maybe, and more so now, Yajna has been just reduced to that. But that only addresses a very small part of our selfish desires. We have much more. Some of them has to be achieved through the Yajna of education, knowledge, which has to be also performed in a very selfless manner. Like a first grader or a second grader, you expect them to be more selfless than somebody who's in college, because that kid does not understand selfishness as much yet. So the kind of energy that child will put into education, sometimes a prodigy, is seemingly more pure than somebody who's a PhD, unless until they are eccentric. They do not have that kind of innocence, right? Like the mad scientist has that kind of innocence, completely dedicated. So Dev Yajna is just a small part of what is considered to be yajnas that can be done for unselfish desires. If they call it, when Krishna says the next few verses, it says Deva. Deva refers to everything. Deva refers to Bhuta, Pitri, Jnana, all of that. That is what it means. All the different branches of how one can achieve the platform of being selfless. So when one has this knowledge, if we do not have this knowledge, if we have not analyzed Bhagavad Gita, then we may feel that, okay, would Dev Yajna also be sufficient? It may be sufficient only for 10% of your selfish desires. Others have to be achieved through ancestors and their satisfaction. Some others have to be achieved through bhutas, other living entities and their desires, satisfying them. So can we individually get that done? Maybe. We'll have to really seek out all the avenues to do that. But is there a way where all of this can be addressed? Sankirtan Yajna. We do Sankirtan Yajna, and the idea is that all of these different entities, when they see us performing Sankirtan Yajna, they're like, yeah, that is what we do. On a personal level, that is what all of them do. They're not trying to please some devata, some ancestors, no? These great personalities. So on a personal level, they are all engaged in Sankirtan Yajna. So when they see us engaged in Sankirtan Yajna, they're like, yeah, even if they're not worshipping me, it's perfectly all right. Someday we'll be rubbing shoulders in Sankirtan Yajna. That is how they feel. Okay? So Lord Chaitanya therefore encourages us to do Sankirtan Yajna. At the same time, we should always be respectful to all the other aspects of Yajna. It has all this various avenues which are called as Yajna has been offered by Krishna, by Lord Brahma, so that we can achieve our Ishta Kamatha. Our coveted desires can be fulfilled. And if we don't do it that way, don't follow those protocols, then that inaction is not going to be helpful in any way. It will actually lead to more and more challenges.
So we have to try to achieve our selfish desires. Is that?
If we can achieve selfless desires, that is good.
Yeah, just that the selfish desires and trying to achieve it is what I'm trying to digest. Like, is it okay to have like a lot of
Krishna says it's okay. Right now he's saying okay.
Okay.
At least till
Right
this
now,
chapter it
he's
is
so
saying
ahead.
okay. If that was all, then Arjuna would have been like, okay, I'm convinced, we don't need to speak any further. So Arjuna did not get convinced.
Yeah,
So let us see how Gita unravels. But the short answer is that ultimately Krishna would recommend that you simply have complete faith in me.
yeah.
Okay? Have complete faith. So we are just unfortunately, we can only do a few verses every week.
That's why
And
we were like when we started. We had the 7 session Gita course, and
right,
we were like, you have to be connected to Krishna, which you shouldn't be chasing all these materialistic things.
correct.
But now we are like completely talking about selfish desires and what you can do to achieve it.
True.
So it's like
In 7
but
days,
yeah, further.
within the first 4 days, how was it? The first day, what was the session about? How did you feel about it? Second day, when did you realize that everything has to be? Was it the 4th day, the 5th day, or the
No, I
7th day?
mean each session again went multiple days, but yeah, towards the middle, endish, yeah.
Isn't it?
We got the bigger picture, and then
Towards,
we
so if we could have all the 18 chapters in 7 days,
yes,
then maybe the bigger picture would be available much more earlier. Isn't it? Here we have decided to do it every week, so we'll have to just let ourselves be flogged. Our minds be flogged like, okay, why don't we come to the bigger picture? We'll have to wait its turn to come. It's there. So what you're saying is correct. Right now it seems that Krishna is saying, because you'll be amongst those who are selfless, it's like rainwater in the form of streams comes and joins the river Ganga. But once it joins the Ganga, it is Ganga. Okay? So Krishna is saying that if we have selfish desires, if we join up with this huge assembly of people doing selfless kirtan, then our selfish desires will be achieved and we'll be happy like, hey, this is good. With these people, it's so easy to get our selfish desire. So the more we'll want to come back there. And one day we are like, y'all don't have selfish desires? And they're like, what's that? And we're like, oh, that is a great question. What does it mean? People not knowing what selfish desires are, what does that mean?
I was about to ask a question. So, like, suppose I like coming here and listening to everything. I don't have a selfish desire there. Right? I just like coming here. Right?
Mm.
But when you're saying the ego part, that I'm letting my ego go, but I'm not the cumulative ego part which you mentioned at that time. Like everybody in my family maybe may not believe the way I am trying to believe here. So in that case, you're saying the selfish desire still stays, is what you're saying. I got confused with the cumulative ego thing.
See, for the cumulative ego to exist, individual egos have to dissipate.
Right.
Then one becomes one person, one entity. It is like if the liver, the heart, the kidneys do not give up their individual ego. The liver says, okay, I'll function whenever I want to function. It leads to acidity. The heart says, I want to function when I want to function. It leads to breathlessness. The kidneys say, I'll function whenever I want to function. It leads to retention of water. But everyone cooperates that let us give up our individual egos, still work, but let make this body function as a unit. And the body is healthy. For that, each of the organs have to give up their individual egos, individual existence, correct? The kidney would say, what does the heart do? Just pump. The heart will say, okay, don't pump, what are you going to do? Is that all right? So selfish is all right. At least it brings you, it at least keeps you active. It helps you pursue certain dreams in life. That is very important, to be active.
And in the right direction.
Arjuna wanted to just give up, and he seemed to be going for a very good decision, at least according to some of us. He doesn't want to fight, he doesn't want to participate. But that selfish desire was not participating in the cumulative entity. Hence, it was not helpful. So he had to be active. So hence Krishna. Here Krishna is trying different ways. Do your duty, do this, do that. Those are all they're like trying to bribe him, basically. They're like little bribes. The real thing would come towards 18th chapter. Krishna is like, just surrender. It's not about duty. It's about surrendering to the process, understanding what the process is, and dedicate yourself to that process. For dedication, you need to surrender yourself to the process. Isn't it? Is that all right? Okay. Anything else?
For like fire sacrifice, all there is a lot of stipulations, right? You have to eat in a particular fashion and all those things. So those, or it can have negative impact of those fire sacrifices. So, but in Nama Japa or Nama Sankirtan, are there any negative connotations if you don't do it in a particular way? Like suppose you are supposed to be hearing when you're chanting, but suppose halfway through your mind gets distracted and you're not listening. Is there any negative to those actions?
Fire sacrifice typically involves the gross elements, the larger elements of the universe. So it is going to affect our gross existence to the physical body. Hence, there are so many stipulations. It's not just about eating; it's also about your habits. Waking, sleeping, cleanliness, discharging byproducts, all of that. They're all stipulations because fire being a particular element, when it gets consumed, its products are going to be received by us as a physical being. So the larger the fire sacrifice, the greater would be the stricter would be the stipulations. All right. The more the sacrifice is on the mental platform, addressing our existence on the mental platform, and the physical platform is not being challenged as much, is not being addressed as much. So the stipulations would be related to what can affect our mental status. So during chanting, pride, lust, greed, these are what can be challenges, distractions. The physical. It's not about when you eat or lethargy, laziness. These are challenges. Sometimes laziness and lethargy are related to our eating and sleeping habits. Sometimes they are not. It's just many a times it's directly influenced by how you feel motivated. So for chanting, one has to avoid certain mental activities, like unnecessarily paying attention to gossip that distracts your chanting. Oh, this person does that, that doesn't. This person is XYZ. Oh, did you hear? This person is no longer considered to be in good standing. So these are challenges that affect your focus during chanting the Sankirtan. Okay, that is one. Then only Krishna, or can I also pray to? Can I also think of? So you won't be able to chant. XYZ can also bring this person along with Krishna, that person, this entity, that entity. So
can you chant when you're driving or walking?
As long as it doesn't put you or anyone else in danger physically. Okay. As of yet, I don't think so. They have any stipulations, any laws regarding as regards to how you use your tongue while driving, right? You cannot use instruments.
But you're not focused 100%. So
Right, but they haven't brought in those stipulations. It's recommended not to do that, but there are no laws. It's difficult to monitor, basically. It depends upon every individual's self-control. So there's no easy way to monitor it.
Depends on your reflex action also. Like for example, I chant when I drive, and I'm very much in a calm state when I do that. Nothing enters my head.
True.
It's very surprising, but
It's definitely I can accept that. Makes sense. Okay, so this is a message that a 19-year-old son, is sending to his mother. He says, "Mother, you always told me to drive safely. You always told me to focus and not get distracted on driving. You always told me to drive in my lane. You always told me to drive in the recommended speed limits. I wish the person who rammed into me had also listened to his mother." Make sense? So if somebody else is also chanting, but they don't feel calm about it, so can we make that as a generic rule? So we say, please don't do anything that can put you or anyone else in danger. Stay focused on driving. If it helps you feel calm, it's perfect. I'm not saying you should not do it. What I'm saying that being on the road, it's not just we who determine what will be the outcome. There's so many others that are also involved. Yes. Okay. Is that all right?
Yeah.
Okay, so we'll stop here. Thank you very much. Hare Krishna. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Gaura Bhakta Vrinda ki jai.
Hare Krishna. So we'd like to thank Guruji for giving his time